way to fix our boat without dropping her keel, we successfully completed two quests, one of removing the diesel engine and the second of dropping our rudder. The last piece of preparation before quest number 3 was to check if we are actually able to unscrew the nuts on the keel bolts. Taught by experience, we wanted to check that beforehand, as we know already all too well that something seemingly as simple as unscrewing a couple of nuts can quickly become a quest in itself. Fortunately for us, this time all went smooth, and after checking each bolt, we were ready for quest number 3, drop our keel. As we had to wait a couple of days for the lift to be available for this potentially lengthy procedure, we did some other jobs, including analysis of the state of our keel, sanding the area around it, shopping for materials, and other minor things that of course we forgot to document. Finally, the big day came. The forklift arrived and the quest commenced. At this point, it was the 5th time we saw our boat being maneuvered on the Heart, and though we had trust and faith in the skills of our crane operator, it never gets easier. Every time I see our boat out of its natural habitat, my cortisol levels spike significantly. As Ouest hung on the slings, we had a bit more space so Bartek could take out the shaft. It also made the crack around the stern tube nicely visible. No wonder we were taking on so much water. Next, Ouest was moved more to the front so the cradle on which it would sit after the keel was detached could be prepared. Next stage, align the keel cradle with the boat and position the keel inside the cradle. Then the keel was secured to the cradle, which was supposed to hold it upright after it was separated from Ouest. If it's looking sketchy, well, that's because it was, but we were aware of that. Dropping the keel is not a task from the standard maintenance list, and this marina was the only one that had any kind of cradle and experience with performing such a job, as well as being one of only 2 marinas on this side of Panama able to lift a boat with 2.4 meter draft. Ouest is not your typical cruising vessel, nor does its keel tick the standard checkbox. So from the start, we knew that this approach is not ideal, but we decided to try anyway. This was the easier part after all, and at least we would know how unrealistic it would be to try to land the boat back on the keel after all the repairs were done. So everything was set and it was time for lunch break. As our stomachs were too squeezed to eat anything at this point, we used this time to unscrew the nuts. I thought I will use the break to take care of a couple of things, and as I came back after 15 minutes, it turned out that the action was already in full swing.
Co oczywiście przegapiłam.
Fortunately, turns out I didn't miss that much, as the keel decided it likes being attached to Ouest and is not going anywhere. And so, true to the theme of wiggling and hammer action, we tried to convince it that it's actually a good idea to let go. Bartek went inside to check if the bolts are not stuck on the backing plates and support the persuasion action from the top. Finally, it did let go, and it did it in a spectacular manner. Yep, we were right. This setup was sketchy, but no worries. It's solid lead with a bit of fairing, so all that happened to it was a little
Good
bent.
thing that the bolts are okay. The bolts are okay. The rest is just...
The most fragile part, which are the bolts, were not harmed in the process. With the keel down, it was time to move Ouest back to our little corner and place her in her new cradle. This part went smoothly. She got positioned over the concrete slabs, the stands were put in place, and it was time for the belts to be lowered. We could now have a closer look at the bottom. If you're wondering what all the black spots are, well, that's the same oil and diesel grime that was inside but managed to seep through the cracks. With the major goal of the operation completed, all that was left was to move the keel itself closer to the boat. At the end, it all turned out better for us, as we didn't have to pay for using the cradle, so we had a bit more chill working on the repairs. And thus, quest number 3 was completed. We could take a deep breath, eat something, and relax a bit before the upcoming archaeological extravaganza.